I stand firmly in the fact that I'm one of the best to ever do this. For the culture, for my coast, and for my city. This is the best rapper in L.A.Podcast. And I'm your host, Murs. What up, though? Yo. All right. Here we go. L.A.46. Finally getting back to Murs for President.
Murs for President. Unless we try, the innocent will die. You can't close your eyes, keep living in a lie. Look, we not helpless, we not hopeless. Said a prayer for the homie locked up and wrote this. He gotta get out and change his ways, while I'm looking for a way to explain these days. It's trying times, I'm trying to rhyme, but so many fascinated with this life of crime.
I didn't know when to start telling the story. Either we started with the recording, because the way it's recorded is linear, and there's stories about the recording process. The mixing and mastering of this album is a tremendous triumphant tale in itself. So since that happened before the album came out, do I tell it or do I tell it now? I've decided to just tell it with the music because it fits perfectly after Murs Sinatra last week. And the album starts with the Ninth Wonder track, which is intentional. Well, it starts with a horrible ass intro.
This is Elisa Guzman, KCAL9, reporting live on the first day of the Murs campaign for presidency. People are lined up on both sides of the street waiting for his motorcade headed down Pico Boulevard. Oh wait, what's this? We've just been informed he just passed Sky's Tacos off of Hauser. There is national coverage for this president.
And we could talk about the cover and everything, but since we talked about Murs Sinatra, and as you'll see as we go through the lyrics of I'm Innocent, there's throwback callbacks to that, and I couldn't resist the urge to just, keep it going. Keep it going. I'm glad we've introduced that into the Murs verse here, the Brilla verse. Pause, commercial, August 3rd, 1 year anniversary for Best Rapper in L.A. August 3rd, the 1 year anniversary, 611 Anderson Street, Los Angeles, California, at the Vintage Japanese Motor Union. 611 Anderson Street, Los Angeles, California. I'm going to hit y'all with details of how to get tickets and the times sooner than later. Stay tuned to the Brilla Pod at Brilla Pod, BRILAPOD, on Instagram and Murs316 and Patreon. I'll let you all know. I think we're going to have 50 tickets for sale. That's it. Maybe less. We will have drinks and some hors d'oeuvres, so to speak. We will record a live podcast and take questions and a little interview with the person who was hosting it, because he is vital to my career, and just life-changing mentorship came from him. So that'll be an interesting story. It's been on the podcast a little bit, but to hear it from his side will be interesting, maybe slightly embarrassing for me. So you don't want to miss that August 3rd if you're going to be in the area. Holler. 50 tickets. I don't know how much we're charging, but we'll have drinks, alcoholic and otherwise, snacks, and it'll probably be a 3 to 4 hour event. May play some of the new album, which as we get into this album is all of it's just divine timing. Praise God. I don't say that lightly. Yeah, so I thought the album was going to take longer to come out. I don't think so, but I just got some new marching orders, so we'll see. But pretty sure you guys may hopefully get the album this year, if not top of next year, I hope. This was one of the songs that I'm Innocent, which I'm skipping over the intro. The intro is horrible. We tried to play into the theme of Murs for President. Could have just been done away with. I was also very superstitious about 14 songs on an album. LL Cool J Mama Said Knock You Out, The Blueprint. So many classic albums have only 14 songs. And I'm still a believer in that, even though my new album's not going to make 14 songs, I don't believe. So we added this intro. I think the album could have done without the intro. Best part about the intro is we mentioned Sky's Tacos, and it's my friend's wife, who's an amazing actress, doing the vocals. And the homie Ted, my manager, aka Slant, doing the news reporter's voice. He was passionate about adding the intro, so sorry. I should have said no. I think it would have been better to get in with What Up, though. But it was also the song's possible because Ted, who's known me for years, came to me. I remember where we were standing. I don't remember the name of the restaurant at this time, but it was a vegan restaurant right on Sunset across from the French bar near Dodger Stadium on Sunset. Oh, man, I wish I could remember the name of the place. I had it down the other day. Anyway, we were standing outside this restaurant, one of the few places you could get like soy riso and tofu scrambled at midnight. So I was up on it, and Ted chose to meet me there. And we talked about last week kind of, I was sharing management teams with Snoop, and it was like a couple other prominent figures in the hip hop and R&B scene. I was low man on the totem pole, but I was loved. So Ted would make time for me. And I know it sounds weird coming from your manager, but if you have a manager that's worth his salt, his time should be valuable, or their time should be valuable. Ted listened to the music. He had vegan food with me, kicked it. No, he didn't even eat food. Me and Russ ate the food. Then he met us, pulled up in the parking lot. And I believe that's where it was. No, this is where I played the song for him. Look at my brain. Sorry. I played the song for him here. Earlier in the meeting, I remember now because I was looking, me and Ted both love Bathing Ape, but like collectors. Like I've been buying Bathing Ape since the 90s. But he has better pieces than me because he fucking knows Nego. And he's the person who hooked Snoop and Nego and Pharrell and Snoop up. And so he's, his collections got mine beat. So I remember being in his office in Inglewood, where downstairs was a studio called Purple Rain. I think it's still a studio to this day off La Brea. And, but back then the Cashmere Agency, which is one of the biggest marketing groups, had just moved into the building. So I was recording in management's office, and which is great because, it's another way, especially for me, when my management isn't making enough to cover the time that they're investing in me, they're still making money because the budget that we use to record some of the songs can go back using their own studios, which is smart. I wasn't mad at it at all. But in this meeting, Ted was like, I don't hear you spitting like Murs spits, like that bar up. And I kind of got lazy, y'all. I was not lazy, but I wasn't hungry anymore because I had past the need to rap for rap's sakes to prove I was the dopest rapper. The metaphor I've been giving here about rock and roll people don't fucking do that shit. Like what the fuck the point, As much as the Beatles should have dissed the Rolling Stones, they didn't, at least not in a song, like straight out. Songs about love, songs about the times and the movement and just love and change and life is what dominates other genres. Our genre is stuck on, because we are marginalized and oppressed people, being the black and brown voices that are the majority, were the majority in hip hop. We want to beat our chest. Look at me. I've been thinking a lot about the song by Jay-Z, or Beanie Siegel's one of my favorite Jay-Z songs. Where he's like, I'm a mess, Dad. I'm your mind. I'm something you're smoking results. I'm a mess, Dad. Still, I love you no less, Dad. Hope you didn't think success would make me less mad.
In order to get right, we gotta deal with this wrong. And the pain I felt all my life, you're feeling the song. You lack the warmth, left me chilling them on. You lack of love, left me loveless. And I'm of your breath. I'm your mind, body, and soul. Your heart, your flesh. Your alcohol, your smoking results. I'm a mess, Dad. Still, I love you no less, Dad. Hope you didn't think success would make me less mad. But not mad, just disappointed. We wasted years. I swear to God, may it take me away from here.
And when I heard that, and we talked about fathers last week, and shout out to one of the homies on Patreon that emailed me a real honest discourse about how he felt about it, and I appreciate that, and his relationship with his father, and he felt the words were impactful. Sometimes I feel like I overshare or I share irrelevant shit, but all it takes is one message, and it makes it worth it. And sorry for y'all who had to sit through it bored, but that makes it worth it to me. But when he said, I love you no less, Dad, that's one of the most impactful lines of rap I've heard, period. Hope you didn't think success would make me less mad. And maybe we've talked about it on this podcast, but man, that is the key to why so many rappers are on the bling bling shit. And, we're still mad, even though with the success, all the success in the world can never fill the void of missing your father. That's why a lot of black dads overparent. So the narrative about black parents, black fathers not being involved is demolished. If you check the stats, and that's how you really heal it. The gold chain's not going to heal it. Shout out to the clothing line, Wash Dads. If you haven't talked about it, I'm really, really ready to order some. I keep saying I should have asked for some for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Hope y'all had a great one, BTW. So it's only right around this time that we get to these songs. Look at God. But I was over that. As you heard on the last one, like I buried my father, gave him his due. So all of these feelings, I never really had them, but they're definitely gone. I got to record with E40. I got to get dumped in the trash can at South Central by John Cena. I'm working with somebody who had vocal samples, one of the greatest hip hop producers of all time. I got money. I have my pick of, women if I'm looking to get married or be serious with. I've met amazing friendships, put on festivals. I don't need anything. So that hunger was gone. And Ted was like, you got to spit, man. Come on. And I was like, all right. And around this time, there's other albums like Richie Abbott, my publicist and friend, went out. And, I had just met him and he was like, I hung out with you a little bit, bro. And I can hear that I don't hear you on this album. So I got called out a couple times and I just got called out on this album. Even though certain labels and my friends at certain labels passed on putting out the record, I still value their input and them saying, and one of them was like, you're not angsty or angry enough anymore. I'm like, I'm not, bro. And we talked about that last week, but so I may like break my vow and go back and open up and just try to add a couple more songs. Because when he said that, it hit me in the heart and I was like, but I think only thing I really want to talk about more is my faith. And, as I leave this record, hoping and hoping that y'all find God. I had one of the kids I mentor have to go turn himself in after Ground Waves last week to do time. And he was just, his last message from stage was, I hope you all find God. And that was so profound to me as an individual getting ready to go surrender his freedom. And his hope was for us. Write me, that's cool. But if you don't write me, if you don't put money on my books, if you don't come visit me, I just hope that you find God. So that I might go add some of that to the album because I know that going back and taking advice from people who know you make a better album, I'm very completely 100% proud of this. I know that I'm proud of every song on this album. I don't think I did a good job at putting it together as a cohesive album because I was just all over the place. This is why you can't let someone with whatever it is I have, mental disorder or the way my mind works, have 18 months and basically an unlimited budget to record. I need 5 days, one producer, like a night. Or by contrast, this new album, I need one producer and 18 months or 2 years, however long we've been working on this record, 3 years. But kind of we've been working on this record our whole life, me and Jesse, because since we started together making music. But I need at least some focus. And word to John Liu, the guru at Amoeba Records, I think great records are usually made with one producer. Because you got to look at it, the genres. You got to look at the art as music, not just rap. In rap, there are differences, but when you look at the Beatles and other, people, that one producer, not necessarily one musician, but one producer. And I had that for Have a Nice Life. I had that for 316. Some of the high points where I feel in my career, I had that for Murs Day, which just celebrated 10 years. Shout out to my boys, Mayday. Listen back to that record. I might have to bump Melrose out and make Murs Day my favorite collab album of all time with other rappers.
Mercy! This first day, know the game wanted this in the worst way. Like a nigga trying to fuck on the first day. From the West Coast, that's my birthplace. L.A.CA, all day I stay in Dodger, blue and gray. Do it big, keep it strange all day. From the 8.46 to the MIA. I'm like, ooh, we naturally. These motherfuckers all live in a fantasy. Schoolyard MC, no sympathy. I got a bone to pick with they faculty. They ain't a fan of me and my friends. Always banging beats on they bench. Wanna keep us on that ain't lit till we burn like this.
And Mercer Fashion, like,
Picked up the homie from the airport. She ain't seen me ever since I cut my hair short. Set a briefcase in the back. Gave me a kiss and threw her hand on my lap. Right off the bat, we off to meet her connect. She said his name is Art from Sinaloa. Respect. I'm out on East Los trying to make this drop. They pat me down, asking questions.
It's a tough call, but right now, listening back to that album, I don't regret one decision. And there are different musicians and beat makers, but Burns to me was the one producer. But when I went into the situation from this album, I learned that I go in and say, okay, who's going to produce this? Who's going to handle the overall vision and shape the sound? Like I always say, like, who's the alpha? That's why I'd ask Mayday, like, who is it? Cool. I'm going to argue with you, but you have final cut, just like I do with Ninth. The friction creates great music, just like Slug is the alpha or the head when it comes to felt. But I have to argue in order to create friction that makes the heat, which is the hot tracks, guys. Back to this hot track. I got a call. Oh, that's what all this stems from. I never got a call from King Tech. I don't know King Tech. I don't know how he got his number. I never got those calls. Like a lot of people. Then one day Jay-Z called me and I was like, who the fuck is this? I think Who Kid called me once and King Tech called me out of nowhere. And I'm like, what? It's like, man, can I talk to you for a second? I know you didn't ask me, but your album is great. You're great. But man, that shit was all over the fucking place. And I was like, I really appreciate this, man. Like, I remember where I was standing. We told like Murs For, and yeah, he had come. Him and Sway had popped up at a show in Arizona. I believe we spoke about that on a podcast. I'm just rapping in the middle of the crowd randomly in Phoenix. I believe it's Nita's Hideaway. I'm like, oh shit, am I rapping to Sway and Tech standing in the middle of the crowd, chilling? Came out to my show, no guest list, no nothing. And this is also I dissed the Wake Up Show multiple times, and them being, whether they heard it or not, them to me being the bigger man. And man, I always appreciate Sway and Tech for that. And I appreciate Sway for many things and Tech for this phone call because it changed my career and my way I view music. He was like, yeah, man, you made some great songs. They're all over the place. Let's get started.
What up, though? It's Merson. It seems like nobody's trying, man. There's kids dying in Sudan and nobody cares, man. At least I'm trying, man. Look, don't ever let the fact that you can't be perfect stop you from doing your best. Murs For President. Unless we try, the innocent will die. You can't close your eyes, keep living in a lie. Look, we not helpless, we not hopeless. Said a prayer for the homie locked up and wrote this. He gotta get out and change his ways while I'm looking for a way to explain these days. It's trying times, I'm trying to rhyme, but so many fascinated with this life of crime.
I knew this would be the intro, and this is one of the last sessions. So there's Ninth. I think I asked him to fly out his wife. My mother is in here when we're doing the Me and the Ninth Wonder sessions. We're finishing at the Boom Boom Room, which is Jazzy Jeff's or Fresh Prince's, whatever, studio in Burbank or something at the time. And I was just elated to be in there for how much Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, especially Will Smith, meant to me as an influence. I think one of the engineers is now like a VP at Warner Brothers. So it's also he was just like an intern working there, but I made friends with him. Just making friends with people on your way up, being kind. You never know who they're going to turn out to be. But yeah, sitting in this room with Ninth and his wife and my mom, just like, I think my girlfriend at the time, but thinking like, man, like this is going to be the intro to this album I've been working on for months and spent so much money on. And now I have the platform to say what I want to say. And I me in my head, I'm like, I know I'm going to be everywhere. What is important? And I come with some self-help mantra, like, you don't let the fact you can't be perfect stop you from doing your best. Something I just came up with working out in the gym or something. Or I don't know, maybe I heard it from, maybe I stole that. No, I'm not going to claim it. And then like, yeah, there's people dying in Sudan and nobody cares, man. Like, I just found out what was going on in Sudan during the recording of this record, and it was appalling to me. And I wanted to say something, but I was like, this isn't like so... Certain things are just bigger than rap. It's just like, yo, and to have like, when I get these messages from people like, you need to post about this, it's like, bro, like, I used the intro of my fucking major label album with fucking Grammy award-winning producers and MCs on it to say, check out the Sudan. First thing you hear from me is what up though, blah, blah, blah. And what the fuck is happening in Sudan? I don't know if that made a difference for anyone. I never met one person. If I met people would be like, oh, when you said this, no one's like, yo, I never met a Sudanese person. Like, thank you. Like, I don't feel like, later when I got to go to Ethiopia, which is close to Sudan, and meet Sudanese people, and over the years, like some of the work I've been able to do there and things I've been able to say and have been more impactful than just lip service or a repost or a retweet, in my opinion. And also, we said on this podcast, I don't feel like I'm the woke rapper. But this was me trying to still fill that void. Like I had this opportunity and I feel like I flubbed it. Like there's so much like, you can't be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Just do your best. And it's Sudan and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to rap now. It's like kind of like, oh, what do I do with my hands?
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Be good just to hold them down by your side. Yeah, great.
Well, we're real happy with what was going on.
Murs for President. Unless we try, the innocent will die. You can't close your eyes, keep living in a lie. Look, we not helpless, we not hopeless. Said a prayer for the homie locked up and wrote this.
Unless we try, the innocent will die. We're not helpless, we're not hopeless. It's kind of going back to ain't nobody perfect, ain't none of us worthless from yesterday and today.
Nobody's perfect, ain't none of us worthless.
Also having the first track be a Ninth Wonder track, I wanted to show my core audience, like, look, I'm not changing up. What Slug says is, like, you got to drive the kids by the house. Like, you know, just driving the kids by the house. Like, everything is okay. You know, we're not that far from home. And that's what I wanted to also do with this. And also with that line, keeping with that theme. And it's also something I feel. And then I was talking about the homie that was locked up on Murs Sinatra. And I'm still like, said a prayer for the homie locked up and wrote this.
We not helpless, we not hopeless. Said a prayer for the homie locked up and wrote this. Trying to make some bright days out of dark nights. Q locked up, I know I gotta write. Money on his books, shoot a quick kite. Telling myself it's gonna be alright.
So much in the first 8 bars of shit that's just not said. Like, I mean, this Tupac, like, pray for the homies and shit like that. But that wasn't really a thing. And I really did, just like, before I went into this, like, I had to, like, center myself as I closed out this album, still grieving the loss of my friend, grieving, you know, a family member of his is locked up. They couldn't come to the funeral. Like, his goddaughter, like, I mentioned my goddaughters later on. It's like, I'm still grieving and processing and, like, that survivor's guilt. But literally said a prayer for him and wrote this, like, before I did it. I'm like, yo, I'm so privileged. But also that's what leads to the flubbing and being like, I can't fucking drop the ball, man. I am so lucky to be here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Look, I'm dying to be different, down to die to make a difference. Music for the movement with a message uplifting. Went from set tripping to trips around the world. Opportunities are oysters, you might find a pearl. You can't be scared to take that chance, cause if you ride it knock twice, then you late to the dance. You gotta move with urgency, assert with certainty. Ask me if I'm sent to serve, I say certainly.
And I do some of my best rapping on here. Dying to be different, down to die to make a difference. Music for the movement. Like, and when I wasn't embraced by the movement after this, it's like, this is another thing that sours my woke raps. I'm like, man, I'm like, yo. And I guess too, is like my friends that were in the movement, I think were tuning out, raising their kids. My son's teacher, when he stood up at his culmination this week, said, they're like, you know, said his name, and then they're like scientists. They're saying what every kid wanted to be in their name as they left the auditorium. I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck? How am I making him a scientist? Like, I know he likes science, but a scientist? And it comes out that he wanted to say basketball player, because I know that's what he wants to be. And at a 5th grader, they told him that was not realistic. I'm like, who the fuck are you to tell I leave my kid with you for you to tell him this shit? And you're coming from a position, man, you better shut the fuck up. Really trying not to say cuz this week, y'all. I got a little heavy with it last week. I apologize to all the B-Dogs and all the Crips that may be offended. But man, that shit had me hot, bro. Well, man, let's play some fucking Anderson .Paak. Y'all just got me hot.
Y'all niggas got me hot.
Woo!
Yeah. Niggas got me hot.
So yeah, man, you know, hopefully you're in a situation where you have the ability to have good teachers and vet your teachers, or just enough time to get in your kid's head. But I'm like, nah, man, I can't have him up here hearing this shit. Even, you know, some kids stood up and said they wanted to be a content creator, which is great. But I'm like, within a 3-mile radius, I can name 2 Hall of Fame NBA players that lived in this neighborhood, and not one content creator, motherfucker. Like, I told my son, like, if you don't practice, if you keep not practicing the way you are, it's not realistic. I agree with her there, but she doesn't know that you're not practicing. Or maybe she does, but I'm like, man, just tell him, like, yeah, with practice, anything is possible. And I had to go on off and tell him, like, I am living proof of that. Like, nobody was a rapper. You know, my yearbook quote is, "I'm every MC, it's all in me," from Black Thought.
Yo, I'm every MC. It's all in me. That's the way it is where you gotta be. Indeed, as I distort, I proceed and lead.
Motherfuckers told me I couldn't do it. No, it wasn't realistic for someone from my circumstances, from my high school, from whatever, without a major deal, to fucking be in Australia, to have, rapped on 3 different continents before he was 21 without a record deal. Fuck out of here was realistic, bro. This album, like me sitting in Will Smith's studio, is unrealistic. And the way I got there, non-traditional, by never shopping a demo. Man. Dying to be different, down and die to make a difference. But after kids, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's not me. How can I make a difference without dying? Living to make a difference is more impactful for someone of my age and that. But yeah, to protect my children, I would definitely sacrifice my life. Which leads into the next line. I went from set tripping, like, motherfuckers still walking around with mad faces and set tripping when they have children is beyond me. But as I get some pushback, like, no, not set tripping like Bloods and Crips, but yes, whether it's hitting somebody up on the bus and not fighting with them, or I have like said a tagging crew or tag banger gang name and had to fight and got my mouth busted open, and I have like stomped people out over shit like so. Yes, that's the type of set tripping. If you have to vet my street credibility. This line, like, went to trips around the world later on Love and Rockets, want to do a song called International. I definitely wanted to find a way. Once I said that line, I was like, I got to do a song about traveling, because that's a lot of what changed my life.
They say you can't reach your goals when you scared of heights. Even so, I'm still iffy when I'm on these flights. I'd rather die in the sky than get popped on a block. These world tours probably saved my ass from getting shot. Rock sold out shows in Tokyo at age 20 and didn't have to change my style to get money. While the rest of these rappers tried to be Scarface, we was every city worldwide selling our tapes. Seen a few 100,000 way before I had a manager. Money in Australia, London, Canada. Labels couldn't handle us. Radio was banning us, but all around the world, real heads was understanding.
Illuminating experience travel when done correctly, not traveling. I travel like an American. I was eating a lot of McDonald's when I was traveling, but that's just because of my my diet restrictions. But yeah, traveling where you're not like a rapper and like getting from the airport in a bulletproof van to the hotel, or even just with the promoter to the hotel, where you stay in the hotel till they come get you for sound check. Then you take a girl from the venue back to the room, like being outside. Like we used to tour Japan and live in, and we lived in Nakameguro in Tokyo for 3 weeks, taking public transportation, taking cabs, going in the club, going to different restaurants without your translator. Like that shit will change you. I guess is what more affluent people call backpacking throughout Europe. But yeah, backpacking Japan and Europe. I guess maybe that's why I'm a backpack rapper, guys.
Music for the movement with a message uplifting. Went from set tripping to trips around the world. Opportunities are oysters, you might find a pearl.
Opportunities are oyster, you might find a pearl. I thought that was cute, World is your oyster, blah, blah, blah. Just more self-help mantras, before they could be IG reels, or before I thought I could be a Tony Robbins or E.T., the hip-hop preacher, or Jesse Itzler, or whoever, all these fucking people that stuck in my head, my feed, telling me I can do it. Late to the Dance is a reference to The Dance from LP, Still Driving Kids by the House. I don't know if it's similar or whatever. Like I just like the way the words sounded. Like even it's not alliteration because it's not the same letter, but the feeling of like move with urgency, assert with certainty. Ask me if I'm set to serve. I say certainly. Like ask me if I set. Like that was all intentional. Those words. Like I don't say I agonized over it, but to have that to be kind of like a percussive symbol, like an instrument symbol, not a symbol like a sign, but a symbol like a crash cymbal, ride cymbal, hi-hat. Like, yeah, that was definitely all conscious, and really proud of that. Pat on the back.
You gotta move with urgency, assert with certainty. Ask me if I'm set to serve, I say certainly. higher than the kite. I'm high off life. At the height of my career, a high priest on mics. I'm anti-thug and anti-drugs. Brought peace to the party and got anti-love. But hate is so antiquated, I anticipated. Accepted it internally, had ninth interpolated. He chopped it up and laid it in a session and he played it. I wrote, recorded to it, now look what we created.
Anti-drug, anti-thug, brought peace to the party and got anti-love. I love that line. Like, I'm thinking about the competition I have out there. Like, what am I going to say? I'm going to bar up and in the name of positivity without really cursing. I don't know if I curse on it. I don't think I do. All right. Hate is so antiquated, I anticipated. Accepted it internally, had ninth interpolated. Chopped it up and laid it in a session, now I played it. Wrote, recorded to it. Now, man, hate is so antiquated, I anticipated. Accepted it internally. Accepted it, like not responding to it, not giving hate back. Accepted it. Like, okay. Definitely speaking to people in my past. I'm not going to say their names here. I'm not going to say their name on the album. But like, as I'm doing this album for Warner Brothers and people that I know aren't doing as well, oh my God, the pillow talk and the fucking hate. I'm so glad there wasn't, like, Twitter wasn't really what it was and all that. Because, man, it would have been a lot of shit that had to get dealt with. They eventually got dealt with, and if you listen to the Pay Dues podcast on Patreon, we're going to get into some of that, you know. But still, for me, acceptingly, internally at night, like getting back at them by being better and then offering them opportunities. People hated on me and then me calling them and saying, yo, you want to do Pay Dues? And them having to, you know, everyone heard what you said about me. Now you're doing my festival. It's not my problem. That's your problem. You know, or I had to pull up to people's house. I'm like, bro, you know what it is with me. Like, are you fucking kidding? Like, motherfuckers inside their house on their phone telling me I'm not at home right now, locking the doors and hiding and shit. Like, I am better now, but especially back then, I'm not playing. Like, I'm not like, I had no kids, no nothing. I had done everything I can to do in rap. And what you're not gonna do, bro, is play like you don't know me. If people who you know, if you've been to my mama house and then you say some reckless shit, we gotta see each other, bro. That is not something I'm gonna take lightly. So, motherfucker, you just Pay Dues all you want. If you don't know me, you're just a rapper, you mad, cool, bro. I understand that. If I could fit you in, I'll find a way to help you be less mad by hiring you, getting you some type of something. But if you know me and I've already helped you in the past, like, you know my brother, like, you know my family, we just gotta see each other, bro. That's it. Like, and then we can have a conversation. Or if you're feeling that way, tell me to my face. I can't accept like you going through side channels. That is so said and eternally had ninth interpolated. Hot Mess, back to still Murs Sinatra, hot off the press. That's my auntie's favorite line, my auntie on my dad's side. She loves that. She thought that was so funny. Yeah, hot mess, hot off the press. Nicholas, you said hot mess, hot off the press. She's a Jehovah's Witness, so I think I don't curse on that song because she can only replay the songs where I don't curse. Early to rise and the last to fall, like hot morning espresso, hot morning set. I learned that espresso, it's not espresso. As we talk about ebonics, like ambulance, pencil, turbulence, espresso, especially, espresso, especially, you know, cultural. I wish that more ebonics was like accepted like patois, man. It's cool when Rastas do it, but when black people say it, it's ghetto. But I learned it as espresso. I said that here. And even though I had yet to have an espresso at this point in my life.
You yesterday's news, dude, you just not fresh. You cold coffee, you wet cigarettes. I'm a shot of espresso and hot morning sex. Early to rise and the last to fall. The best thing for black youth since the basketball. Word to Curtis Blow, you gotta know the breaks. And if you don't know your history, I know you're fake.
But then coming with that, like, I'm a shot of espresso and hot morning sex. And then coming with early to rise, like rising also being a reference to an erect penis, and the last to fall in, like, you know, stamina. Best thing for black youth, or last to fall, the best thing for black youth since the basketball. Thought that was a cold one. Shout out to Curtis Blow. When my son really got into basketball, him playing that song, like, that was dope to him, that there was a rap about basketball.
Curtis Blow. Basketball. my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court.
And when my youngest son, what used to be my youngest son, got into hockey, I made the song Me So Hockey. Shout out to Sean Kantrowitz, who listens to the podcast. Still banking on the NHL picking up that song one day.
Everybody iced out, but don't nobody in rap got a hockey stick, ice skates, or a slap shot. Bunch of men on ice with sticks chasing a black rock. Trying to win the cup, that's the jackpot. We got the Kings, we got the Canucks, Coyotes, Jets, Predators, and the Ducks. Kraken, Red Wings, Flyers, Sabres, Bruins, Lightning, Islanders, Rangers, Panthers, Penguins, Blackhawks, Blues. Any given night, you could win, draw, or lose. Hurricanes, Senators, Flames, and Canadians. They play in Montreal, and they got the biggest stadium.
I want to get to more nerd shit with a gray skull power when I spray soul shower. That's borderline corny, but still nobody's referencing Castle Grayskull enough. We all grew up on it. More people rap about crack than Castle Grayskull. That's bullshit, bro.
Look. Been here a minute, be around a while longer. Every rhyme invented, my style got stronger. Gray skull power when I spray soul showers. While you battle rap cats, just lay low, cowards. Oh, you mad cause I'm styling on you. Love songs 1 minute, then I'm wilding on you. That's the pain you gotta love and appreciate. I'm a bad man, you silly girls need to get it straight.
Mad cause I'm styling on you. 1 minute, there's the 1 million love song Wildin' on Mad cause I'm styling on you was when the battle rap dude got hit. After he said, "Oh, you mad cause I'm styling on you," and then dude smacked the shit out of him or knocked him out or whatever the fuck. That was going around the internet at the time.
Please, oh, you mad because I'm styling on you. You got better get quit styling on me. Listen, plus the cowl is on me. So act up and you'll fucking have to lay down.
I always wondered why I never really got into battle rap, but I think that's one of the things that also turned me off because it made me anxious watching people get ready to fight. And I enjoy fighting, but I don't enjoy it as much now, but you know what I'm saying? Like I laugh and you know, like I'm into it, but the moments before, like, it's like watching two people almost fight for minutes, and then also watching people say shit and move their hands the way I would have just stole on somebody by then. Like it was really challenging to me to, you know. But the art is amazing. But I don't think that thing when it really happened too made me feel like bad. It kind of was like a regular meathead dude that's like stand around. If a fight broke out, I watch it. You know, as long as you know. I had made sure, like there was one time and we had a fight in a crowd on tour. I just backed up and watched it, and then somebody got involved, and I just like, I'll let the fair fight go, but if someone's getting stomped out, I'll step in. So I stepped in, and you know, some shit transpired that I can't even speak about. But you know, that's where I drew the line. I wouldn't never break up a fight if two men are getting it in or two girls, whatever. If there's a fair fight, fair fade, like let it play out, and I'm gonna enjoy it and laugh. And one day we were at the Catalyst in Santa Cruz, and there was a fight by the bar. I was like, "Ooh, shit," you know what I mean? And I remember because I was in front of the merch booth, and I remember Orko. If you don't know Orko Elohim, aka Orko the Psychotic Alien, what an amazing MC. Originally from, I believe, San Diego, part of Project Blowed, and then I think currently in Minnesota, doing amazing music and art. He's walking art, man. He like broke up the fight, but was like looking at all of us, like scolding us. Like he's breaking up the fight and then scolding us, like, "You fucking animals! How can you watch two human beings tear blah 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 and claim to be blah blah?" Like he was lecturing. I was like, oh, I felt like such like a piece of shit, man. I was like, "You're right, bro. Fuck are we doing in this woke, conscious style of music? We, you know, talk about MCs talking about this and these negative things, and here we are with the fucking two drunk men beating each other who probably have really no intentions of wanting to hurt each other, and yet we stand alongside like cheering it on and watching like it's the fucking Coliseum." I was disappointed in myself, but that was a pivotal moment. I think I maybe got a chance to tell him that. I've seen him once, but I think he was at that time saying some more profound shit to me. Yeah, I think it was like we battled Masters of the Universe, the B-Boy Summit, one of the most hip-hop moments of my life. B-Boy Summit 96, I believe, downtown San Diego, man. It was pandemonium down there, bro.
Play a little music, so just feel free, just set it off. We're not going to try to control this circle or anything. As far as we want to have it as big as possible. We know it's going to get kind of hectic at times, but just have a good time, And for anybody, we have strict rules at the B-Boy Summit. We have designated people videotaping.
Aesop, Big Nose from Hobo Junction. We were down there. I mean, like, people, they closed down the venue for the last event of the night. And so people were like bombing the city, literally bombing the city, playing boomboxes, breakdancers, shirtless on the corner, doing, like, it was just wild hip hop all over the Gaslight. I don't even know if it was called the Gaslight yet. It was rugged still kind of down there. And man, we had a cypher. We ran up on Masters of the Universe. They ran up on us. And it wasn't like no fucking gang shit. It was like meeting, like masters of the meeting. You know, like, we heard about y'all. Y'all heard about us. We got to get out. And we were freestyling. And I think Boss Juan was with me. Or with us. Mike T. It was just a gang of Bay motherfuckers, bro. We was outside. And we battling. And then here the police start, like, they sent out the mob, like, not SWAT, but like, you know how they Gestapo strategic shit, the face shields, the fucking holding it, like the steps with the thing, they start coming out, and the homie was like, I smell bacon, I smell pork, let me run home and get my fork, and he took off, and I remember seeing a cop kick his legs, and he flew into the gate, and then started, like, he looked like he was about to lift the baton and hit him. And I don't know if I grabbed the baton. I may have grabbed the baton. I was like, what the fuck? Like, when I tell you, like, I was, like, gone, bro. Like, never right now. Never what I suggest to my sons to do. But I'm like, this is the homie. Like, I don't care if you're a blood or you're a Crip. And I guess this is why I feel confident saying what I say when I say what I say. Because I know I've been in situations where it's time to get down. And I'm going to get down, bro. And I'm so hesitant to unleash that side. But I think I grabbed it, or I just said, hey, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Something to make him stop. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I'm like, I'm not about to let this, not gonna happen. And so I was talking to him and talking shit to him and like motioning for him to get up, like, get up. And he got up and kept running. And then when he got away, he was mad. So then he turned his thing on me, and I had the Cini on. Sorry for another Crip reference, but I had this Chicago Cubs beanie that could fit all my hair. I got from a thrift store and had a big C on it. The C was red though. But I had it pulled down over my eyes, so it didn't get, like, he pepper sprayed me, and like, the pepper sprayed the fuck out of me. First time I ever been pepper sprayed, and I was like, what the fuck? And then when it didn't really affect me right off the rip, they took off. And that's the thing I always tell the homies, like, if you can catch cops alone, like, I've caught a couple of them alone or not as deep as you can take a stance, bro. I don't know about all the fucking know your rights bullshit. But I know just man to man, when those motherfuckers are outnumbered, the guns don't come out. And if they do, they're back, you know, but it might be different cops now. Because it's a different era. The streets is different. But in my era, like, I've never had a cop be able to draw down on me before I could get to him and grab his hand. But also, I think that men know when other men, I'm not playing with you, bro. I'm ready for everything. And I don't think even though you're with the badge and the gun and the vest and all, I don't think you're ready for everything because you've never seen everything. You're scared. That's why you took this job. That's why you lock people away. That's why you ride in your car, a lot of them, not all of them. You're scared. I am not. I mean, the only thing I'm scared of now really is being here for my kids. And also the homie talked to me, Jose, I'm scared of pain. I'm scared of pain. As Living Legends get ready to perform at the Coliseum, it's the last time I had to put my hands on a police officer. And that's a weird thing to say, but it's very true. I think I still have the footage somewhere. But when that motherfucker reached for the taser, I was like, nah, bro, nah, blood, nah, cuz like, I cannot. Just shoot me right now. But the taser, I'm not about to piss myself and shit on myself and be shaking on the ground. Cause just go ahead and cuff me up, bro. But we can skip that part. The pain, but we can get straight to the transition into the next world. I'm not scared of that if it makes a point. But most of them aren't on like that. And that cop wasn't on it like that. But he did say some crazy, like later on, like I'm still walking around, my face is on fire later. It scared him like to move and got the homies away. And he knew he was outnumbered. It's like also too, once you show that courage, then the other homies started skipping like, yeah, it's like the TED talk where it saw the weirdo dude dancing. And then the second guy starts dancing and they show the effects of like being a leader.
Now, if you notice that the first follower is actually an underestimated form of leadership in itself. It takes guts to stand out like that. The first follower is what transforms a lone nut into a leader.
That was the thing about the intro too. I don't know if this was before Katrina or after Katrina. I believe this is after Katrina. when the like people dying in Sudan, I think it was my best imitation of Kanye West, because I realized that at that point, Kanye saying George Bush doesn't care about black people was probably the most powerful thing said by a black person in my time alive. The most subversive or rebellious thing said, anti-establishment thing said, like in real time, like the power in that, like knowing like George Bush is president right now, knowing that he is whatever, skull and bones, Illuminati, like not giving a fuck and just being moved to speak, to act when you're not supposed to. That had inspired me. I was on fire for, Kanye was cool, but I was like, man, that.
The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
And I think that's what I was trying to evoke with the intro, but it was not as great. Needed more. It was totally out of context. But I didn't have the words to tell the story. Like Sudan, like when I try to sit down and rap about that shit, man. But I like to be on the ground asking questions. But yeah, once you start leading, people follow and the homies follow. But later on, we ran into that cop and I was like, man, hey, all the bullshit is done. How the fuck does my face stop burning? And he said, try some soap and water. Something you people aren't normally used to. And I think one of the homies tried to throw a newspaper stand at that motherfucker and his punk ass started running again. Something you people aren't used to. And that motherfucker ran like a bitch. Yeah, man. I guess fuck the police. Or fuck that police officer.
Yeah, it's for my street niggas. Feel it. On the count of three, say fuck the police. 1, 2, 3, fuck the police. Yeah.
Then the end of this verse, again, that's the pain you gotta love and appreciate. I'm a bad man, you silly girls better get it straight. Driving by the house, letting people know who I am. Small guys, next verse, small guys and dying, this is my world. Your girlfriend called herself a dark-skinned white girl. I was really hot that so many people started going and trying to do projects with Ninth or get Ninth Wonder Beats. I was like, man, I started this shit. You know what I'm saying? And that was also why it was important for me to bring Ninth with me on this journey. Like, he leveled up, I leveled up, and we're going to keep building with each other.
That's the pain you gotta love and appreciate. I'm a bad man, you silly girls need to get it straight. Small guys denying this is my world. Your girlfriend call herself a dark-skinned white girl. Got a nice beat. Man, come on, he hear me in the sample before we even throw the drum on. Run on sentence, I'm the best, period. He pulled a track out, I black out, I'm not hearing it. Nada, nothing, the negative zone. And if you can't do better, you should let it alone.
The Negative Zone was a comic book reference right around the time. This was Jonathan Hickman was writing Fantastic Four, I think, and it was like about the negative zone and Franklin Richards. This is just dope time before Hickman. Like he's one of the comic book writers. I forget the name of his. I think it's Nightly News or something. Just Google him and his work before Fantastic Four. Something about the news. He's too deep for me, man. I had to stop. He make my brain hurt. He makes me feel unintelligent, bro. When I say I started it with Ninth, like I just started like Someone Flying It. Little Brother was the first people rapping over Ninth Wonder beats. Yes. But no one has rapped over more Ninth Wonder beats than I have. And I guess I knew that then. It irritates me when people think, whether it's festivals, whether it's Twitch, whether it's whatever, touring, like I've had so many things where I've had success and then motherfuckers will be like, well, shit, if he could do it, then fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Then I'll be successful. Like the only reason I was successful is because I was rapping over Ninth Wonder beats. That happens to me often in my career and in my life. Like, oh, well, shit. And I was like, well, quit. I guess I just look like a punk motherfucker, man. Like I make it look easy, or Anyway, so that's it for that verse. And then the next one is, to me, my best verse on this song.
I want it more than you, I want it right now. I want it in 48 states for this style. It's sicker than syringes, streamlined with strychnine. Vegan diet, healthy heart and soul with a sick mind. Inclined to flip split minds when I spit rhymes. So go ahead, kick yours, hope I don't kick mine. I'm 50-yard line against the wind through the uprights, while you just choking can't win cause you uptight. came to the game with 2 MCs. Back when people said you couldn't make beats on PCs. Internet haters, major labels be damned. Soon produced a full-blown threat for the man. Now his phone blowing up, he can't hold it in his hand. A few months back, them fools didn't understand. Now it's Mary J and Erica, Jean Grey, etc. The name Ninth Wonder, and he crushing all competitors.
I think it's got dope. Like, I want it more than you. I want it right now. I want it in 48 states for this style. Sicker than syringes, streamlined with strychnine. Vegan diet, healthy heart and soul with a sick mind. Inclined to flip, split minds when I kick rhymes. So go ahead, kick yours. Hope I don't kick mine. I'm 50-yard line against the wind through the uprights while you just choke and can't win because you uptight. Bruh. Like, if battle raps, like, I hadn't done a lot of those, but like, yo, if I can get in this bag, I can get in this bag. And that's what Ted was asking me to do. So I hadn't thought like that in a while, but I thought that was pretty good. You know, also no one was saying vegan diet in their raps, really. Once again, you're going to give me mine or not. Pioneering the skateboarding, the veganism, boy, they're speaking out for Sudan. All these things, man, are, you know, all rarely, I don't know if it matters, but, you know, in retrospect, I'm just going to annotate that for anyone that's documenting this shit. I don't know how many, because I'm not going to do the work that you will on Rap Genius to find out how many other times before 2008 vegan. I know no one on a major label was talking. There was no black rapper on a major label. There was no major rapper on a major label talking about being a vegan. I'll give you that. I'll tell you that, right? I know that for a fucking fact. But underground rap still at this time was so massive that who knows who was kicking rhymes in fucking Bemidji, Minnesota about veganism. I'm sure there was somebody. But I hadn't heard of them. Yeah, the next verse is just going to talk about Ninth's accomplishments. And it's the first song on my major label debut. And either I'm so uncomfortable with the spotlight that I want to talk about Ninth Wonder, or I love my brother so much and I'm all about uplifting. I'm not on this jock competitive bullshit that all of my contemporaries seem to be on, where, you know, what did Lauren say? 2 MCs can't occupy the same space at the same time. It's against the law of physics. So weep as your sweet dreams break up like Eurythmics, rap rejects, my tape deck ejects, projectiles, whether Jew or Gentile, I rectile for centile. Many styles, more powerful than gamma rays. My grandma plays like Carlos Santana plays, Black Magic Woman. So while you fuming, I'm consuming mango juice under Polaris. You just embarrassed because it's your last tango in Paris. And even after all my logic and my theories, I add a motherfucker so you ignorant niggas hear me.
Yeah, behold, this my old manifold on your rhymes. 2 MCs can't occupy the same space at the same time. It's against the laws of physics. So we bet your sweet dreams break up like Eurythmics, rap rejects, my tape deck ejects, projectile. Whether Jew or Gentile, I rank top percentile. Many styles, more powerful than gamma rays. My grandma pays like Carlos Santana plays, Black Magic Woman. So while you fuming, I'm consuming mango juice under Polaris. You just embarrassed, cause it's your last tango in Paris. And even after all my logic and my theory, I add a motherfucker so you ignorant niggas hear me. You remember, take notes, cause I sold my rap oats before you biting zealots. Here's a quote.
Another MC losing life tonight.
Bro, one of the greatest MCs of all time. She's amazing. I know that from my corazón. Right in the corazón. Man, but yeah, I'm not on that shit. It's a great lyric, but 2 MCs can't occupy the same space at the same time. I guess my Ninth isn't an MC, but I just list off his resume real quick. Also bigging up Jean Grey. Somebody I was glad flew out to work with Ninth, even though I don't know if Genius ever came out. Also, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like that was back then. I care less. I'm glad everybody worked with Ninth. It was stupid. I always have to add that. A lot of the views expressed here are not the views of the current person, current spirit inhabiting this meat bag. I've grown and realized how much that shit doesn't fucking matter.
I cross-train, toss brain fuel on hot tracks, burning intelligent infernos, you got that? I speak clear like the sample is, and treble kids get every crooked cop in Los Angeles to handle this. Insane, inspired inside a street analyst, questioning authority who don't know what the answer is. The voice is proof, the choice of the youth. Forensic evidence, say the boy is the truth.
Oh, wait a second. I get more lyrical miracle. I cross-train, throw brain fuel on hot tracks, burning intelligent infernos. You got that? I stepped outside of myself when I came up with that line. I'm sorry. I think that's great. Because people burn crosses, cross-training, mentally, burning intelligent inferno. Like, you know, for me, alliteration is so, it gets my wee-wee hard, you know? That's a weird one, but I'm going to say that one today. It makes my penis tickle when that happens, all right? Burning intelligent infernos, you got that? I speak clear like the sample is, and trample kids get every crooked cop in Los Angeles to handle this. Insane, inspired, insider, street analyst. Insane, inspired, insider, street analyst. Come on. Questioning the authority who don't know what the answer is. Before you don't have the answer, Sway. I was joking. Yeah. Question authority, you don't know. There was also a t-shirt line in Los Angeles, question authority, but the voice of proof, the choice of the youth. Forensic evidence say the boy is the truth. Back, you know, referencing the cop thing, forensic evidence. This was challenging for me. This step up was challenging, but to step into this arena with Murray's Revenge signing into the Warner Brothers system and not owning my masters the first time I ever did that. I owned everything before this. So before 2005, I had 1997. So this is, you know, we'll say 40 episodes of Best Rapper in L.A., 8 years of music, countless project. There's not an album I put out that I don't have ownership in, whether it's Felt, the Def Jux stuff. For those who don't know, like LP signed 5-year leases for our music. So they only owned half of it, and they only owned half for a limited time. That's wild, right? And I guess, you know, like there's some people who thought they didn't get paid. There was money owed to Def Jux. I never got into that shit. That's my fucking friend. I wouldn't have been able to sign to Warner Brothers without LP taking a chance on me. You take away 316 and End of the Beginning, I'm not where I am. I can look at other people I hung out with, I know, that didn't get that opportunity. And people who got the opportunity, there are people in the crew that got the opportunity and didn't take it, and see what happened with their career. So I'm grateful for that. So if L owes me money, so what? Or if he owed me money, so what? He gave me the opportunity to make money. I was given an opportunity. You know, if someone says, here, you can have a pop-up shop at my store and I won't charge you for the space, but you go in with shit that you created and you work from day in and day out to build out the space, and you create the product in that space and the ideas. Were you given an opportunity, or is that a gift? Like, same person could get the same space and won't do the work, or won't do the work that leads up to having a pop-up to have people want to come. The work, I was with the homie the other day talking about, oh, like I might run for city council. And the big homie was like, well, you start now. I was like, okay, yeah, no, but it's not, you know, such and such is not going to be out of office until 2026. No, you start now. And this Warner Brothers album, the song that we're talking about right now, started when I met LP in fucking Rocksteady Park in 1997. Then we went to Denny's. Then I gave him a cigarette. He bought me a Seagram 7 and 7. Like that's when this started. It didn't start when he handed me a 2-page contract and gave me a $5,000 advance for End of the Beginning. That was predicated on a genuine friendship and a brotherhood and camaraderie. How dare I take him to court? That's how I felt. Like I'm from the streets, y'all. Like, not the deep streets. Like, I keep having to say that, but I keep that mentality. I respect that part of the code. I don't want to take anyone to the courts. I don't want to send anyone to jail. I don't. I try my best not to. And I think that worked. Like, I could have been suing LP and Def Jux or signing to Warner Brothers. And the irony is, I wouldn't have been able to sign to Warner Brothers without Def Jux. And because I'm not spending my time trying to chase money or talk shit about somebody that tried to help me out and it didn't work out. LP didn't get rich off of Def Jux. Let's make that clear. He got very broke off of Def Jux. But he did right by everybody. And I think that's why he was blessed with Run the Jewels, man. Him and Mike, man. I think they did right by a lot of people. And good shit happens. You know, that's why I feel I'm happy for his success. And I still have a lot of love and respect for him. Yeah. But when I signed to Warner Brothers, I had to sit with myself and be like, And I have the same sit with myself when I decided to sign Estranged a few years, 10 years later, 6, 7 years later. If Ice Cube was concerned about his owning his masters, I would have never heard Death Certificate. If Chuck D was concerned about owning his masters, I would have never heard Fear of a Black Planet. If Q-Tip was concerned with owning his masters, I would have never heard Low End Theory. If Dell was concerned with owning his masters, I would never heard. I wish my brother George was here. If Brother Jay was concerned with owning his masters, I would never have heard To the East Blackwards. All these albums changed my life, shaped my Weltanschauung, my worldview. How dare I, when it's my turn to sacrifice? There is no religion. There is nothing great without sacrifice. How dare I, when it's my turn to sacrifice, fall back on some fucking bullshit? And a lot of people will say it's a pro-black thing, but and the same people will start calling people colonizers. And you have to be very careful that you don't slip into the mentality of owning things. Like when the indigenous people or when Americans show up like, okay, you sign this piece of paper, now I own this land. They didn't understand the concept, I don't think. Like, what do you mean? You own this part of what? Okay, dumbass. Yeah, give me that and that and that and that, and sure, you own this part. Great. And then just, like, oh shit, you really meant it. You're not into sharing. Oh shit. And oh shit, you're not even going to follow like the ecology of our land and the traditions. Like, you're not going to let us put you up like when to plant that shit and where to plant that shit. You just go, oh, y'all just go, oh, ooh, shit. It's, but yeah, and I think like that analogy is also like when you give your masters to someone and then they don't know how to market it and they don't know how to reach your community. I think hip hop went through a lot of that initially. And I was blessed to sign to Warner Brothers in a time where I could be like, look, black people are not fucking up. Do not put me in this black music department, bro. Like I could get that and get planted in where I thought I would grow. And as the story ends, you'll see that it wasn't because I had the wrong marketing team that I didn't succeed. But I don't think there's a sound on this album that could have been marketed to urban America. That was the buzzword they used to say black. And that's the thing that I still don't, I see it's kind of happening now, but you have no qualms marketing G-Eazy or Jack Harlow to a black audience, but someone like a Murs or Open Mike Eagle may not have the demographic, or not urban artists. There's black people that are, intellectuals and blah, 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 but that due to, whatever you want to say, the black population in those scenes, in the geek scenes and the blah, blah, is a lot smaller than the white population. So you can't market me like an urban artist. You have to market me based on the art that I create and the people who want to hear that art. And for whatever reason, there's not a huge urban demographic that wants to hear it. And I didn't set out to make music to appeal to a specific race of people. I started out to make music that represents me, and it just drawn all kind of people, and I'm grateful for that. But I couldn't be in this colonial mindset of like, I could sing Bonita Applebaum whenever the fuck I want. Clive Davis, B&B, Bertelsmann, the music group, whoever the fuck doesn't own it. But that's an illusion. You can own the land you want. You know what I'm saying? When you're really concerned with ownership, make sure you know how to take care of the shit. Like you can own the earth, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, especially you believe in the hereafter, what does it really mean to own something? And all the owning and the drawing of lines, and that was the thing with the Sudan. And when I realized, like when I went to volunteer in Ethiopia, we went to a village to volunteer, and there were 2 children that had been in this orphanage, and they didn't speak Amharic, which is the predominant language of Ethiopia. But the people there spoke 5 different dialects aside from Amharic, and they still couldn't speak to them. So I guess they had been sexually abused. So in order to get them to bathe and get in new clothes, like it was I and my ex-wife who didn't speak anything, they were able to, like I had to sit down with them and like just earn their trust through just being a human. And then we were able to bathe them and get them ready. And then like baseball is what, really me and the little man hit it off with. He had never, I was explaining to him baseball and he liked it. But white people just drew lines. Europeans just drew lines based on what they wanted to keep the other Europeans out of their area. But, you put Sudan as one country. You didn't investigate which tribes lived where and who had control. And then you try to paint them as savages because there's a civil war when this group of people should have never been grouped together by your bullshit lines and borders in the first fucking place. If you're going to colonize, like same thing with the crops, if you're going to colonize, at least get in tune and say, okay, everyone is this tribe, this is now my tribe, and we own this land, or whatever, however you have to paint it. But now the media will paint, the brutal, Civil War. Motherfucker, you drew the lines incorrectly. If you have to, you shouldn't have been drawing lines in the first place. But the fact that you felt to go to someone else's continent and to draw lines on it, and then you didn't even do the legwork to figure out where you should draw it, because Civil War isn't profitable for you. You colonize the country for profit anyway. It'd have been better for your profit. Just like learning how to grow the crops and maybe employing some of the indigenous people instead of trying to eradicate them and learning how to grow on this land would have, man, I guess it's our forefathers were extremely ignorant, bro. But so I realized I think I'm being revolutionary by keeping my masters and owning music when music is not made to be fucking owned by anyone. As early in the podcast, is it really even supposed to be a profession for this many people? Maybe not. But that was the start of the thinking was, man, I just got to suck it up and sign because I want to reach the youth. And if I'm on the little fucking box, the little video box, I'm relevant to them.
The voice is proof, the choice of the youth. Forensic evidence, say the boy is the truth.
Speaking at Crenshaw High was like an eye-opener for me. I was like, oh, shit. Speaking, shout out to Mr. E, who was a teacher in New Orleans, who brought me into his class on this Murs For President tour and teaches the science to this day in his classroom when we get to that song. But that makes me relevant to them. And that's all I wanted. All I wanted was to be a Black American in white America, just market it to mass America as a Black America who doesn't think and throw money on women and have half-naked women in the video only. Like, I like porn stars. I like all this time, but I didn't feel like that's not what we should be putting on TV for the children. That's my business. And there are songs about relationships, and these are the things I wanted to reach all children, but especially if I could, Black children, but I couldn't come marketed from an urban angle. I had to be found. Vince Staples just did something. He shouted me out on Apple Music. I think he's talking about Murs at the skate park. Like, that's where Vince Staples found out about me from some Latino dudes at the skate park. I think that's dope.
Don't get me started on the skate park. Come on, man. You go to that skate park, it get real lyrical miracle. Then you meet Blue, you meet Murs, you meet Dawn.
Because I'm not for once as a parent and, someone that is just work with a lot of teens, like once somebody's 15, they're cooked, bro. Like, you can't really they have to come to you in their own way. And I think that everything was perfect. This album is what it's supposed to be. It just wasn't allowed to flourish the way it was because there's a whole hostile corporate takeover that happens that has nothing to do with me. And before we could finish the album cycle and really go to radio with 3 singles for this record that we thought we had, Can It Be was the only single really released with the label's push.
For my supporters and my fans, man, I know y'all been waiting. Now it's finally here, and thank you for your patience. The world's gone crazy since we last spoke.
When I get to the breakup and all the other songs, I shot those videos myself. There was no 12 inches made. I had no label support at that point. Can It Be was just the beginning, and we were supposed to do bigger videos and have a bigger push and radio push. And, yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Thanks for listening to the Best Rapper in L.A. podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing on Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. If you like the show, leave a review on Apple Music or Spotify. And to support the podcast directly, go to patreon.com/MURS316, Murs316. See y'all next week. Peace.